Let's get ourselves connected. Let's get ourselves connected. Honey, let's do it right. Let's get ourselves connected. Connect with you, alright. Let's get ourselves connected. Gotta get yourself connected.
Today on the show, why have one screen when you can have two? Mike reviews Toshiba's new libretto. Also, we'll show you how to lose those book bags and go sleek and light with the Kobo e-reader. And Mike catches a limo ride with travel expert Claire Newell. She's going to show us some brilliant travel savings.
Hi, and welcome to Get Connected. Today, we're talking traveling. You know, in the past, when you flew on a plane, all you had to worry about was maybe a few leg cramps and a bit of turbulence.
Well, nowadays, with all the stuff that you bring with you, it can be a pretty messy and disorganized affair.
Well, exactly. You've got your laptop bag, you got your laptop, all that extra gear. Well, we're going to show you how to simplify and streamline your travel habits so it might not be as painful to work away from the office.
We're going to show you some technologies that actually make the airplane food even taste better.
Well, I don't know if we're that advanced yet. Let's check out the email. Hi, Mike and AJ. I have a job in sales that requires me to travel a lot, so I spend a good portion of my time in airplanes and hotels. Are there any tips you can give me to help make me a more efficient traveler? Many thanks, Paul.
Sounds to me like Paul's going to need some packing tips.
Well, we're also going to show him how to plan and book his travel online the right way.
We'll get him an ebook reader so he doesn't have to lug all those heavy books around.
Get your carry-on. We've got a flight to catch.
We're here at the Fairmont Pacific Rim in beautiful Vancouver, British Columbia. Probably one of the most impressive hotels I've had a chance to see in a while. Joining me, Paul Bissonnette, who wrote to Get Connected. He's having a lot of trouble packing for his trips because of all the technology he needs to bring with him. Thanks for joining us, Paul.
Thank you very much for having me.
So we're going to go upstairs and actually take a look at what you did pack for this trip to Vancouver and see if we can help streamline some of your technology needs.
Sounds good.
Let's go have a look. So, Paul, I promise this isn't to embarrass you, but we need to take a look through your luggage and just see how you typically pack for your trip.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, my clothes, which I generally pack pretty light on the clothes.
I can see that, yep. So one outfit for the trip. What else is in the suitcase?
I read a lot, so I generally bring my books and
You know what, I always encourage reading, you know, it keeps the mind sharp, but this is definitely adding some weight to your travels here.
But this is my cell phone.
That's your cell phone? Okay. And you get bugged about this a little bit?
Yeah, it's a tank. It's a tank.
Well, you know, testament to Nokia, it's obviously a few years old and it's still working, so that's great.
No, it is
you pack your laptop in your suitcase?
I do.
Does it ever get bashed up at all? Or?
It's been pretty good. I mean, I'm sure it gets a little battered, but so far I've been pretty lucky.
All right, well, we'll take that out. And you actually have...
I bring my printer.
You got a full-size printer in here. Okay.
It saves me a little bit of time.
That's the first time I've ever seen someone pack a full-size printer in a suitcase. Looking at what you have packed for this trip, I think we can definitely streamline some of the stuff for you. We're going to make sure you can get some more clothes in there.
Yeah.
So the first thing I want to start with is an e-reader. We got to replace all those books. What I've got here is a Kobo Reader. Take a look at that. It doesn't use a backlit screen, it uses e-ink technology. We're going to talk about it later more on the show, but this is going to automatically give us like 1/3 of your suitcase back just by having this one device.
Wow, like it's so light.
And the other thing we're going to do, and I know you're going to be excited about this, is we're going to replace your cell phone. We're going to go with a Motorola Charm. The Motorola Charm uses the Android operating system. One reason I went with this one is because it has a nice wide screen, which will be good for reading. And your friends won't make fun of you anymore.
Yeah, huge difference.
The next thing that we're going to do, because I've created a bit more space, I'm going to add something to your luggage, believe it or not. This is a device that's from Rogers, and it's called their MiFi. It basically broadcasts an internet signal, so you can connect up to 5 different things that need internet. For example, your phone, the Charm that we just gave you, has the ability to connect to a Wi-Fi signal and therefore not use your data plan. So this will connect to that, as well as your computer. So while you're traveling, you'll be able to get internet access and do all of your business and even send emails or download content.
Very cool.
So the next thing that I want to show you is actually replacing your computer. Now, you have a great computer, but it's kind of what we refer to as a desktop replacement. And the idea is that you use that in your home or your office, and when you need to go to the boardroom, you carry it to the boardroom. But for traveling, it's just too much weight. So I want to introduce you to a netbook computer, and this one's from Asus. And netbook computers typically are great for traveling. And this one's actually the first netbook computer to have a dual-core processor in it and Windows 7 Home on it. So you're going to be able to do all of your business on this device. And if you take a look at it, it's literally about half the size of what you were carrying before.
It's amazing.
So that'll fit inside of your luggage. That's going to clear up tons more space for you.
So much space.
I don't know what you're gonna do with all that space, but
Yeah.
get ready to be totally blown out of the water. This is gonna replace your printer.
Wow.
Yeah, this is actually called Brother PocketJet 3 Plus. It's a little thermal printer, and for writing your orders and doing some correspondence that you need to do when you're on the road, this is essentially all you're gonna need. So it's a Bluetooth printer, so with your Motorola Charm that we set you up with and your Asus computer, you're gonna be able to print to this device, and as you can see, it's completely small.
This is shocking. I could put this in my pocket.
Exactly. So I think that, you know, between the laptop and the books and even this printer here, we can get you out of this big suitcase and possibly get you into carry-on, which is going to ultimately save you more time when you travel through airports.
Yeah, it's...
But because, as I said, we got more space for you, I want to show a couple more things. So if you ever go to an airport and you need power, you often see they usually only have one plug and everybody's kind of using it. So this is from Belkin, and you simply just plug this in, and it gives you instant ability to plug in more than one computer or more than one device. And in addition to that, it's got the USB charger as well. You're going to be a hero at the airport.
I could rent that out.
Yeah, you can rent out power spaces when you're traveling. And then lastly, if you do end up using your laptop on the plane, it's always great to have a mouse. And I know this looks like a mouse for Minnie Mouse, wow. But it's actually a really useful device. It's just more comfortable and even a bit more ergonomic. As you can see, we can probably get you about 18 more outfits inside of there. What do you think?
I think it's amazing. I can't believe how much more space I have, and I think it's going to be very practical.
Well, if you think that's good, stay tuned because we've got even more things to show you for travel.
Wow.
It's really amazing how many Google Android phones have appeared on the market in the past several months. This is an interesting one from Motorola. It's called the Motorola Charm. It's made for people on the go. And it kind of blends the best of a few different worlds. For people who want the keyboard, you've got that on the bottom. You still want the touch screen, that's up top as well. And you can see this is a very thin smartphone. What's nice about this one is that it's running on the Google Android 2.1 operating system, so it's got some great features as far as the home screens and apps. Everyone loves using apps now. Well, with the Google app marketplace, there's literally tens of thousands of ones to choose from to enhance the functionality of the phone. Well, this particular phone, it's got the 7 home screens, so you can actually customize this to have all your favorite applications and things like Facebook and your messaging. You can see fairly easy to use. The home button here takes you to the home screen. I can then shift between the different screens that I have. You can see right here on the side, this button here takes me right to my app screen, so it's easy to find. If I want to make a phone call, I can just basically hit the phone icon, and I've got the numeric pad up. And if I want to get to the Moto Blur section here, this is where it's actually amalgamating all my different contacts and all the different feeds. So for example here, I'm just gonna go into Shauna, and you can see I've got you know, the Facebook, I've got her phone number, so it's very easy to get a hold of her and find out what's happening in her world. It does come preloaded with a 2 gig card, so you can store all your favorite music on there, even things like video. And for additional navigation, if the touchscreen wasn't enough, it even has a trackpad on the back of the phone. They call it their back track, and this is kind of interesting. Now to navigate, you don't have to even touch the phone. You can just use your finger to get where you want to go. It's called the Motorola Charm. It's running the Google Android 2.1 operating system. A great little phone for people on the go. We're all about travel today on Get Connected, and whenever I need travel tips, I always call my friend Clara Newell, the travel expert. Thanks for coming on the show.
Oh, thanks for having me, Mike.
So I wanted to chat with you because I always feel that I'm getting a crummy deal and I get the worst seats on the flight. So I wanted to go through some apps and some websites that work for you. But
yes.
I guess first of all, to get to the airport, we need to get a ride.
You do need to get a ride. And 2 apps for smartphones that I just love. First, if you need a taxi, is Rocket Taxi. Good for countries all over the world. It has never let me down, no matter where I've been. The other one, if you want a limo, is Limo
I think
Res.
I want a limo.
Yeah, it's more your style.
Yep.
Okay, well, Limo Res is the same type of thing, and we use it today to get Star Limousine to take us around while we chat about travel apps and websites.
I like how you roll. Let's do this.
Sounds good, Mike.
Well, it's pretty cool. You know, limos come with laptops, eh?
Isn't that handy?
Well, we can look up some websites.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay, so if I want to get the best deal as far as flights, what are some sites that you'd recommend for that?
Well, there's one that I have tried that I think is probably the best one. It's kayak.com. You can't actually book on the site, Mike, but what it does allow you to do is find the airline that has the lowest price, and it will prompt you to go to that website and you can book it there.
So it'll actually give you a comparison between all the different airlines. Got it. So another problem I have is I always feel like I'm getting gypped. You know, I book the flight and I'm thinking, you know, I bet 2 days later this is going to be cheaper.
Yeah, well, it's true. It could be 2 minutes later it could be cheaper, or it could be more expensive.
Yeah.
So there is a site called faircast.com, and I like this site because it uses historical pricing trends to determine whether a fare is likely to drop or not. So it tells you, wait or book it right now.
I love this.
I know. It's right 85% of the time.
How does it know?
I don't know. That's another segment for you to do.
That is amazing. I mean, that would save a lot of money and anxiety.
This searches 90 days in advance for the lowest fare. And I like the fact that it just tells me flat out yes or no, book or don't, and saves you about $50 to $75 on average each time you use it.
Okay, that's my new favorite website. Yeah. Okay, so I've booked my flight, and you know what the problem I have? I always get the crummiest seat on the plane. I'm either like right beside the bathroom, or I'm on that seat that doesn't recline.
I know. You don't have to be in those seats. There's two really great websites that you can go to. Both do very similar things. One is called seatguru.com,
okay,
and the other seatexpert.com. Flights themselves often have different planes going on the same route. So you might have booked, you know, 12A because you've got an exit row on the last flight, but no guarantee that 12A is going to be that seat the next time.
Could be a different plane.
Exactly. So once you've got your flight, plug it in, find out what the aircraft is going to be on that route. You don't want to be close to the bathroom. You want to make sure that you have an aisle if you want to get up. This will give you all of that information on one site. Very easy to do.
So I've got a great seat now. My problem is I'm not a very organized traveler.
Oh, you're talking to someone who is such an organized traveler. I'm a huge fan of one particular smartphone app called Pocket Express. It's got everything that you're going to need. Currency converters, gives you the ability to check your flight status. It has all of the airline
and weather too.
numbers. Weather's on there. So it's just like a one-shop wonder. As far as organizing, there is no smartphone app better than WorldMate Live. And if you've never used this, this is something you as a business traveler need to have, Mike. It acts like your own personal assistant, and if you can't afford one, it looks like you have one, which is even better.
Riding in limos, my own personal assistant, I love it.
The nice thing about it is simple. And you know, people don't want cumbersome, especially if they're a business traveler. And all you really need to have is one email address memorized, which is trips@worldmatelive.com. That can be just put into your smartphone, and whether it's car rentals, flights, hotels, you forward all of them to that one email.
Okay. So it actually sucks off all that information and puts it into one simple itinerary.
One simple, in chronological order, and can do multiple trips at a time. You can surprise people by sending people in your office, family, the itinerary, and it's all on one page, so they'll know where you are and how to get a hold of you.
These are great tips. Thanks so much.
I hope it helps the road warrior, Paul.
Yes, it will. So some great tips from Claire Newell. And, you know, with all this money we've saved now, I think maybe we can do a little bit of online shopping.
Oh, yeah. I've got a few sites that are good as well.
You can watch all of your favorite videos on YouTube on the Get Connected TV show channel.
You know, if you're like AJ and myself, you probably like to read books, but the challenge is if you're out and about, you can only take so many with you, especially when you're traveling. This is the Kobo Reader. We've had a look before at the Amazon Kindle, also the Sony Reader. This is from the folks at Chapters Indigo. And this is their base entry model here. I think it comes in around about $150, which to me I think is the right price point to get people interested in these things. When these devices first came out, they were like $500 plus, which I think was a little prohibitive as far as people picking these things up.
And I just wanted to show some of the viewers exactly how it worked. This Kobo Reader comes preloaded with 100 books. It's got a gig storage on it, so it can take up to 1,000. We'll click on Peter Pan.
Is that your favorite book?
Yeah, I thought that'd be a good one to start with.
Yeah.
And we'll see if it has any pictures in it. But, you know, that's that e-ink. And a lot of people wonder, well, what is e-ink? The purpose of e-ink is to allow them to create a screen that uses very little power or energy. So you can read thousands and thousands of pages before you have to recharge this battery. And if you take a look, it's not backlit. It almost looks like type that's on paper. It kind of reminds me of Etch-a-Sketch in a way, because every time I need to change the page, you don't shake it, but you press a little button and the whole
That's
thing.
coming next, I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly, right? You know, one thing I wanted to point out here too, display. I can change the actual font size. Right now I'm on the largest, but if I want to see more on a page, I can go down to small. And you know, it's just depending on how much you want to see on a page or how good your eyesight is, you're able to change that quite simply.
So something I find really interesting is that it's not just the e-reader device itself. They've actually created a whole kind of, if I could say, ecosystem. So to get the books onto the actual device, you plug in the USB cable into your computer and you go to the Kobo bookstore.
Right. It does come with the SD card, so if you had books in the EPUB or PDF format, you could stick them in the SD, so you don't always have to connect it to the computer.
They've also got free apps for a number of other mobile devices as well. So for example, on my iPhone, my BlackBerry, I can download the Kobo e-reader app, and probably the most useful is the iPad version here as well. So if I have purchased any books in the Kobo bookstore, I can just log in with my account here, and those books will show up in this library as well. So I can go from device to device, no matter what I'm using, and access all my favorite books that I've bought.
You know, a good example is this e-ink. It's not backlit. At nighttime, you need to have a light. Now, a lot of people will have their little light beside their bed and they can read their books, but if you don't have that, or if you're traveling on a train or a bus or something like that, the iPad's a great solution. And the whole eco idea really takes it away from just being like the Kobo Reader to, like you say, being all about Kobo books.
It's the Kobo Reader. It's from Chapters Indigo. You can find out more information there. And you can also check out their free apps on the various app stores.
They have a nice little back to it.
It's quilted for your comfort.
From helpful websites to tech-inspired tips, here's a few things that could help you out on that next trip. Use the camera in your phone to take a picture of where you parked. There's nothing more frustrating than wandering around a parking lot to find your car. When buying a laptop, consider an SSD drive, solid-state drive. Why? There's no moving parts, and when you're traveling, you're likely to be bumping around a lot. So play it safe and use an SSD drive, which uses flash storage. A great all-around gadgets for flights is an iPad. The battery lasts around half a day, and you can load it up with entertainment, movies, pictures, music, and all sorts of things. Travel guides tend to be one-dimensional, and I like to customize my trips a bit more. A great site to do this is stay.com, where you can browse other people's custom guides, mix them with maps, as well as other tips and tricks. If you want to shut the data off to avoid getting dinged with overages, but still want to use your maps in different cities, then check out an app called Off Maps. You can download regional maps and even pick areas to download more specific details.
Gotta get connected.
So I came across this really cool video calling app called Tango. What's great about it is that not only can you call from an iPhone to an iPhone or from an Android to an Android, but you can also cross platforms. So if I have an iPhone and you have an Android, I can also use the Tango app to video call you. Hi, Christian. We're just in the studio here. We're just showing our viewers how to use Tango. Wave to everybody.
Hi, everyone.
Hi. Okay, thanks, Christian. And there you go. See, it's pretty easy to use. One drawback of Tango that's not perfected yet is that if I'm in a video call with somebody else, they also have to be signed in, and there's no call waiting option. So if someone tries to just call my phone and I'm in a video call with somebody else, they can't get through to me and they'll go straight to my answering machine. So you can use Tango to video call on your 3G, your 4G, or on Wi-Fi. If you don't want to use up your data minutes, the Wi-Fi allows you to make long-distance phone calls for free. That's Tango, and that's your app look.
Tune in to us on Get Connected Radio every Saturday on the Chorus Radio Network.
I'm always interested in different form factors for technology. This is something new from Toshiba. Looks like a book, and I guess it almost is. It's a notebook. It's the Libretto, the new version, and it's actually sporting a dual screen. It's a full notebook computer running Windows 7, but it's got some interesting features. On the side, it has a built-in USB port. You've got the headphone jack. The battery lasts for about 4 hours, running an Intel processor running at 1.2 gigahertz. And it also has a built-in solid-state drive for storage, so 62 gigabytes of things that you can store on the device. You'll notice right on the dual screen here, I can actually use it like a regular Windows 7 computer, but I've got the extra real estate space. If I want the keyboard, I can basically hit the keyboard button on the side here, and it punches up the keyboard so that I can then type into my documents. Over on the other side, I've got got the home button, and by pressing that, it launches into the bulletin board. And there's all sorts of different things I can do here. I can leave different types of notes and messages. I can go into the gadgets as well to access some of those tools. But the idea is that it's supposed to make it easier for me to interact with the actual unit itself. Overall, this is a very light unit, so for someone on the go, it doesn't really take up that much space at all in your case, but it still has all that power to run all of the Windows 7 applications, like Microsoft Office, for example, that you need to do. Again, it's the Libretto from Toshiba, a little powerhouse packed in a tiny package with a unique dual screen technology.
So Paul, I promised you some more travel tips. These ones are going to be software. Now, if you remember, we set you up with a new netbook computer. Whole point is we want you to be more lightweight and can travel around, but you still have your desktop replacement laptop at your home office or your business, right? And there's probably files on there that you need to have access to.
Right. PDFs and sales agreements, PowerPoint, you know, that sort of stuff.
You know, one of the biggest problems that we have when I get people working on 2 different computers is that problem of having files on one computer and not having files on the other computer, and that can be a real pain.
Yeah.
So the software that I want to show you first is called Dropbox. I'm just going to open it up here. Essentially, it's a small bit of software that you load on your computer. And the greatest thing about Dropbox, there's no cost. It's absolutely free, and you can store up to 2 gigabytes worth of files on there. So here's what you do. While you're on the road, any new sales agreement that you create or any information that you make as a new document, you save into your Dropbox folder here. It automatically syncs with any other computer that has access to that account. So when you get back to your office, your desktop replacement, the bigger laptop, will automatically have any file that you put together while you're on the road simply because you saved it into that folder. There's another program that I also want to show you, and this is one that's more about being mobile, called TeamViewer. It's an iPhone app, and you can use it on the iTouch as well. And what it does is, if you look right here at this iPhone, it looks like I've got a little computer loaded on it. Well, that computer is the one that's actually right behind us here. You can see, for example, I'll just scroll down and touch the start button here. I'm controlling this entire computer from my iPhone. You know, for you in business, if you're at a meeting downstairs and a client's asking you a question maybe about a price list or something, simply pull out your iPhone, log into your account, and you can pull up anything that's on that computer using TeamViewer. So 2 programs that absolutely, if you're going to be a person traveling and in sales, you're definitely going to want to have. What do you think?
I think it's amazing. I think it's going to be very practical. For me, I was most blown away with the printer. I can't believe a printer you could fit in your pocket. I thought the Kobo was very cool, and I loved the screen on it. It actually sort of felt like I was reading a book. I think my back will be very thankful for a lot lighter bag.
Thanks for watching Get Connected today. Next time, we've got a pretty cool segment. We're going to be visiting Joanne. She's got her own home decor business, and we're going to show her how to soup up her home office and get her into some new technologies.
You know, speaking of souping up, I could really use a new laptop myself.
You know, we get these things in all the time. You probably have 10 laptops yourself right now.
It's true, but I really want a green one.
Okay, Kermit. We'll see you again next time.